What's up guys, Sam here, and today I'm going to be taking a review on the Nikon D70. I've had this camera for about a year now, and it's held up pretty well. I've been taking quite some photos with it, and I've been quite surprised at what this camera is capable of. So let's start with build quality of the Nikon. This camera is built with an aluminum and plastic chassis, which is pretty solid. This camera has gone through quite a bit of hit chips and much more, so it's held up pretty fine over the year. And overall the build quality is top notch even after about a year's time, so yeah, there's no problem there at all. So let's continue on to button placement. So the placement of the buttons are very well placed. They've been put in very comfortable and easy places to reach. And speaking of comfort, this has to be one of the best cameras I've ever held, even with the Canon EOS 5D Mark III. This is so much more comfortable than that, so yeah, big plus there. And yeah, you'll not have any sort of troubles holding it for long periods of time, especially when you're on concerts and you really have to hold it. You'll have no problems there. It's a really light and well built machine. Yeah, so the lens, it came with a default lens, which I didn't quite like because of the fisheye-like effect. So I went with the Nikon 18 to 70 millimeter lens, which is absolutely awesome. I get some really epic shots with this lens, which I will be showcasing in just a moment. But before I show you the photos, I just want to let you know of the port layout. On the very left, you have the camera's HDMI, the mini HDMI, which you can use to connect to a external or bigger screen such as a TV. When you need to extract files out of the camera, you'll have to go to the opposite side, which has the SD/XD card slot. And above that, you have the shutter button, which allows you to take photos, obviously. And yeah, the buttons are built very well on this, so there won't be breaking them, or I wouldn't expect them to fall apart or break anytime soon. Above the mini HDMI port, you will have the scroll wheel, which enables you to go into a bunch of different settings such as manual, auto, low light, and more. So you can choose whichever sort of setting you want, and you can go totally manual on this. Some really nice features. So here's some of the sample shots that I've been taking. They've been pretty nice detail and color exposure, although I thought it tended to suffer just a little bit in low lights, although it didn't suffer too much because it had a big sensor and a big lens, so it didn't suffer too much, but it did, and it was getting a little bit noisy during the nighttime. But otherwise, it's a pretty awesome lens. I would definitely recommend. The lens is also able to capture depth of field shots instantly, which basically means you can get shots focusing on the subject, such as a plant for instance, or a flower, and you can get a blurred out background, which I think is pretty awesome, and I really do enjoy taking such photos. Let me show you guys some of the settings and what they look like. The first thing that stood out to me as I was opening the settings was how small the setting was. It was a 2-inch display, which is one of the most downgrades of this camera. But also to get, it was made in 2013 or 2014, so having this size display at the time was a big plus. So getting into the settings, it's a very dull and not exciting sort of settings app or interface. I think it would have been way better though. So at the end of the day, the pros of this excellent camera would have to be the excellent buttons and button placement. I think it has the best button placement on any DSLR out there. Amazing image quality and inbuilt flash, which is really helpful in like concerts or when you have to take photos in the dark. It really does help out quite a bit. And it's easy to get some depth of field shots like I told you about earlier, so you can get the blurred out backgrounds. Yeah, and there's quite a bit of detail, not much of overexposing, which is a good thing. And lastly, the ability to change into different modes such as auto, manual, and more, like I explained earlier. The cons would be small display. It suffers a little bit in low light, as I said earlier, and just a bit of overexposing. Sometimes in some situations it does tend to overexpose, but then you can simply fix that up in Adobe Lightroom, and yeah, it's not that much of a problem. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this review on the Nikon D70. I'll try to link as much stuff down below, including the camera, the lens, down in the description, so you guys can definitely go check it out by yourself. So stay tuned for a couple of vlogs coming up soon, some reviews, expect some more camera reviews coming up in the future, and much more. And if you made it to the end, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It took me quite some time to make this review, and yeah. If you guys like my content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.